The neon lights of Fremont Street buzzed, oblivious to the subtle tremor beneath. A ripple, barely noticeable, danced across the asphalt. Tourists, lost in the sensory overload of flashing lights and blaring music, remained unaware. The ground twitched again, a little stronger this time. A showgirl, her headdress shimmering, stumbled slightly. She blamed her platform shoes, chuckling at her own clumsiness. Deep below, something stirred, ancient and hungry. The vibrations intensified, spreading outward from the epicenter beneath the giant video screen. Slot machines rattled, glasses clinked on bar tops. The music seemed to falter, as if struggling to be heard over the growing subterranean growl. Panic began to flicker in the eyes of the crowd. This was no ordinary tremor. This was something else, something far more sinister. The asphalt buckled. A giant iridescent green leg, thick as a car, punched through the surface. Screams ripped through the air as panic erupted. Another leg, then another. And suddenly a monstrous beetle, its carapace shimmering with an oily sheen, towered over the fleeing crowd. It let out a deafening screech, its mandibles snapping. The ground split open in a dozen places. Spiders, larger than trucks, emerged, their multiple eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. Cockroaches, the size of motorcycles, skittered through the panicked throng, their antennae twitching, drawn to the scent of fear. The air grew thick with the stench of decaying vegetation and the raw, primal fear of the fleeing crowd. Chaos reigned. The giant insects surged through Fremont Street, crushing slot machines, overturning cars, and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The iconic canopy, once a beacon of entertainment, now groaned under the weight of monstrous spiders. Their webs, thick and sticky, ensnared fleeing tourists, adding to the growing carnage. A small group of survivors, huddled behind a toppled hot dog stand, watched in horror. There was Sarah, a young tourist from Iowa, her eyes wide with terror. John, a grizzled Vietnam vet, his face a mask of grim determination. Maria, a cocktail waitress, still clutching a tray of drinks, her face pale with shock. And David, a college student, frantically trying to call for help, his phone useless in the chaos. The giant insects were mutating, growing larger, their exoskeletons hardening by the minute. The survivors, their numbers dwindling, knew they had to act fast. John, drawing on his combat experience, rallied the group. "We need to get to higher ground," he barked. "The old casinos, they might hold them off." As they made their way through the debris-strewn streets, they could hear the screeching and chittering of the monstrous insects drawing closer. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The air was thick with the stench of decay. They reached the entrance of the Golden Nugget, its once grand facade now scarred and battered. Barricading themselves inside, they prepared for a final stand, their fate hanging precariously in the balance. Hope, it seemed, was a flickering flame in the face of overwhelming